Just before my flight to North Carolina for a job interview, I sat in the terminal room, surrounded by the stormy February night. The waiting area was sparsely populated, and most seats were empty. However, a man chose to sit 2 seats away from me, which struck me as slightly odd. What was even more unsettling was his intense stare directed at me. Trying to ignore his gaze, I focused elsewhere, but I could still feel his eyes on me. Then he leaned in close and whispered to me that 2 men sitting across the row were planning to kidnap me once we landed in North Carolina. Shocked and unsure how to react, I watched as the man abruptly got up and walked away. As my flight was called, I nervously boarded the plane, keeping a wary eye on the 2 men he had mentioned. They sat ahead of me, and as I passed them, they stared at me intently, heightening my sense of unease. Throughout the flight, I couldn't shake the feeling of apprehension. Upon arriving in North Carolina, I scanned the airport for the 2 men, and sure enough, I spotted them lurking around a red minivan in the dark parking lot. When they noticed me looking their way, they quickly ducked out of sight. Feeling increasingly uneasy, I retreated back into the airport, where I waited for a taxi and eventually made my way to the hotel. The encounter left me with numerous unanswered questions about the mysterious man's warning, the identity of the 2 men, and their intentions towards me. When I was around 10 years old, my family and I had planned a trip to Disneyland. We arrived at the airport, and while we waited for our flight, my mom went to the bathroom with my youngest sister. My dad asked me to watch my other sister while he grabbed something to eat. As we sat there, a middle-aged woman approached us and started chatting, putting her hand on my back. Shortly after, a middle-aged man joined her, acting similarly friendly. They claimed to be our dad's cousins and said they had just seen him at the cafe. Naively, my sister and I followed them when they said they wanted us to meet their kids. As they led us towards the airport entrance, I began to feel uncomfortable. When they mentioned their kids waiting outside by the car, I knew something wasn't right. I broke free from the woman's grip and said we wanted to go back inside. That's when the man aggressively grabbed me, and the woman did the same to my sister. We screamed as they tried to carry us towards the parking lot. Thankfully, airport security intervened, and the pair ran off. The security guard led us back inside to our parents, who were understandably distraught. Reflecting on it now, it's unsettling to think about how easily we were fooled, and I didn't notice any red flags at the time.